If only she knew what her mother-in-law was feeding her daughter. Then this wouldn't have happened. The morning sun rose gently over the village of Umuaku, painting the mud houses golden. Birds chirped from tall iroko trees, and the smell of roasted yam filled the air. In one of the compounds, Ngozi, a beautiful and humble young woman, was rocking her newborn baby girl, Amora, to sleep. Her husband, Obina, stood beside her with pride. "My wife, you have given me a jewel. May our daughter grow strong and wise." But as they smiled, in the corner of the compound stood Mama Nena, Obina's mother, her face unreadable. She forced a smile and muttered, "A girl." Though she congratulated them, deep down she felt disappointment. She had always wanted her son's first child to be a boy, the heir to carry the family name. At first, Mama Nena pretended to love Amara. She carried the baby when Ngozi was tired, sang lullabies, and even offered to prepare her meals. Ngozi, innocent and grateful, thought, what a blessing to have such a caring mother-in-law. But behind the smiles was jealousy. Mama Nena never liked Ngozi. She had wanted Obina to marry a rich trader's daughter, not this girl from a poor family. At night, Mama Nena sat alone in her hut whispering to herself, "She has taken my son from me, and now she thinks this child will seal her place here." Never. Months passed, and little Amora began to change. She cried endlessly at night, her skin turned pale, and she refused to eat. Ngozi worried endlessly. "Obina, something is wrong with our daughter," she said one evening, tears rolling down her cheeks. "Don't worry," Obina reassured her. "Mother is experienced. She will take care of Amara when you go to the farm. Maybe it's just normal childhood illness." But the sickness grew worse. Herbalists were consulted, sacrifices made, yet nothing worked. Ngozi prayed daily, asking God for healing. One night, Ngozi had a dream. In it, a strange old woman appeared and said, "Your child's sickness does not come from the earth, but from the hands that feed her. Open your eyes before it is too late." Ngozi woke up sweating. Her heart pounded. Could it be true? Was someone harming her baby? The next day, she began watching closely. She noticed that whenever Mama Nena fed Amara, the child cried louder afterward and grew weaker. Yet whenever Ngozi nursed her, the baby was calmer. Her mind wrestled with fear. "No, it cannot be my mother-in-law. She loves her grandchild, or does she?" One afternoon, Ngozi pretended to go to the stream but returned quietly. She hid near the kitchen, peeking through the bamboo wall. What she saw made her blood run cold. Mama Nena stood over a small calabash, sprinkling black powder into a pot of food. She chanted softly, "This child will bring sorrow to her mother, this child will never grow strong." Ngozi gasped silently, covering her mouth so as not to scream. Her knees shook. So the dream was true, my own mother-in-law is poisoning my daughter. That evening, Ngozi, her eyes swollen with tears, told her husband what she had seen. My husband, she began shakily, I can no longer keep silent. I saw your mother sprinkling black powder into Amora's food. She was whispering strange words over it. That is why our daughter is sick. Your mother is the cause. Obina's eyes widened in shock, then narrowed in anger. He dropped the pestle he was holding. What did you just say? He thundered. Ngozi, are you accusing my mother of harming her own grandchild? The same woman who carried me in her womb, who raised me with her sweat and tears. Ngozi knelt down, crying. Obina, I know it is hard to believe, but I saw it with my eyes. If you love me, if you love our daughter, you must believe me. But instead of comfort, Obina's voice grew harsher. Never repeat such evil words against my mother again. If anyone dares to poison this house, it is you and your lying tongue. Ngozi gasped, her heart breaking. How can you say this to me? Have I ever lied to you before? But Obina stormed out of the hut, slamming the door, leaving her in tears. Days passed in silence between them. Ngozi was weak with worry, and Obina tried to bury his doubts. Ngozi must be imagining things, my mother would never, he told himself. But one afternoon, Obina returned early from the market. As he approached the compound quietly, he heard Amora's faint cry from inside. Curious, he moved closer and peered through the window. What he saw froze his blood. There was his mother, Mama Nena, crouched low with a small calabash. She dipped a spoon into a thick, blackish food that gave off a foul, bitter smell. She blew gently on it, muttering incantations under her breath. This child will never bring her mother peace. This child will weaken day by day. Then she carried the spoon toward little Amora's mouth. Obina's heart pounded. His hands trembled. For the first time, he realized Ngozi had been telling the truth. He burst into the room, knocking the calabash from Mama Nena's hands. The contents splashed across the floor, releasing a smell so rotten and unnatural that even Mama Nena flinched. Mama! Obina shouted, his voice breaking. So it is true? You are the one killing my child slowly. Ngozi, who had heard the noise, rushed in. She fell to her knees beside her baby, sobbing. Obina turned to his wife, shame flooding his face. My wife, forgive me. I doubted you. I raised my voice against you when you were only protecting our child. May the gods strike me if I ever choose blindness again. Mama Nena stammered, Obina, my son. I only wanted the best for you. This girl is not worthy of you. Silence. Obina roared, his eyes blazing with fury. You nearly destroyed my home. You nearly killed my daughter. The entire household gathered at the noise, and soon the truth spread like wildfire. Word spread quickly. Elders were summoned. The village healer examined the remains of the food and shook his head gravely. This is no ordinary meal. It is a charm meant to weaken the child and bring misfortune. Gasps filled the air. Villagers stared at Mama Nena with shock and disgust. She tried to defend herself, crying, "I only wanted the best for my son. This woman is not good enough for him." But no one listened. Her wickedness was exposed. That night, Ngozi held Amora tightly as the healer performed cleansing rituals. He bathed the child with special herbs, prayed, and broke the spell. Slowly, Amora began to recover, her laughter returned, her strength came back, and the light in her eyes shone again. Ngozi wept tears of relief. "Thank you, God. My daughter is free." Obinna, heartbroken by his mother's actions, distanced himself from her. "You nearly destroyed my home," he said coldly. From that day, Mama Nena was a shadow of her former self. She lived in loneliness, shunned by neighbors and haunted by guilt. Whenever she saw Amora running and playing, her heart twisted with regret. As for Ngozi, she never forgot the lesson: not every smile hides love, and sometimes the hands you trust can be the ones that harm you most.